Hey yo, welcome back to a new episode of the Kyrie James podcast. I am your solo host, the hostess with the mostest, Kyrie James, and this episode 5. I think things are moving along. I'm doing what I do, trying to do what I do best, that is. Um, Today, I think I want to get into, I want to talk about T.I. saying, what his trap Rushmore is. Of Atlanta. He put himself, Gucci, Jeezy, and Future on there, and I don't think he's wrong. I don't think he's wrong. Um, if we're talking about like leaders of the trap music sound from Atlanta, those four are definitely the leaders of the trap music. I feel like Jeezy, Gucci, and T.I. introduced us to the trap sound, but Future took it so far ahead. Like, I haven't listened to the interview that T.I. did. I just saw it. So, I don't know if I'm, repeating anything he's saying, because again, I didn't watch any interviews, or I didn't watch the interview, I should say. But he's just not, he's not wrong in what he's saying and how he's saying it. Like, I don't know how he's putting himself and Gucci and Future and Jeezy on that list. Like, I don't know how that Mount Rushmore looks, but if I had to put it in order, it would definitely be T.I., Gucci, Jeezy, Future. Like, that'll be my order of how it goes, because even though, was Gucci before Jeezy? I mean, before T.I.? No, he wasn't. T.I. definitely was before Gucci. Gucci made it cool to, be a trap nigga. And I think that's what made everything how it was and what it was. But T.I. was so laid back with it, like, with being, making trap music, because when you first heard 24s, he was out of here. I didn't even know that was considered trap music. But the album Trap Music it's a great album. I don't care what nobody say. I love trap music. That album is out of this world. T.I. was on a crazy run when he was at the top. I think that so was Gucci. Cause Trap House, that album was crazy, and his mixtape run was, between him and Wayne, I think they have some of the best mixtape runs, and including some others, but I'll talk about that on another episode of another episode of this podcast. I definitely believe that Jeezy, he was more, let me tell you how the streets is, and let me tell you how me and mine was rolling in these streets, and we was doing in the trap, and things like that. Future just brought it to light. It was like, I'm gonna put it in your face, and there's nothing you can do about it. You get what I'm saying? Like, even without it being even without the drug usage of Future and Gucci, their drug usage of, their lyrics or whatever, even without all of that, I really feel like those four put out great, solid trap albums. Like, solid. Nobody else comes close to it when it comes to the trap albums. Like, those four have it. They all four have it. Whether it's the mixtapes, or whether it's the albums, or whether it's singles. Like, because you're not gonna tell me that when you hear Itching, that you don't go crazy and want to go on a trap. You're not gonna tell me when you hear Thug Motivation, the first song off of Thug Motivation 101, that I used to hit the kitchen lights, cockroaches everywhere. Like, what? He went crazy. Gucci Mane's My Kitchen. Put the pounds in the trash can, Gucci do the dishes. Don't nobody fuck with my kitchen. There's no way that you're gonna say that these guys are not the Mount Rushmore of trap music, because they are. Like, they birthed the whole sound. now it's to the point where you have like trap music is its own genre of music. It's its own genre. Like that's why I always say like rap is bigger than just it being its own genre. Like, cause you got so many different subgenres of it. Especially with trap music being one of the top subgenres. Cause now everybody wants to do trap music. Everybody is a trap rapper. But we know a lot of those people didn't really live that life. And then you have T.I. with money else, cause and clothes, that's how my niggas roll. Like, you were getting top tier trap music from these four guys. Like, you were. There was no other way around it. Like, you were getting great music from them because nobody else was doing it the way they was doing it, and they all were repping different sides of Atlanta. Like, I don't know what side of Atlanta Jeezy come from, but we all know Jeezy's from Atlanta. You have, you know, T.I. that's from Bankhead. You got Gucci that's from Zone 6. I don't know what part of Atlanta Future is from. I don't know if it's College Park or, you know, whatever. Like, but they all came from different parts of Atlanta, but they all are, like, all four of those guys, they are Atlanta's trap music, period. Like, not Andre 3000, not Big Boy, not JD, not Ludacris, none of them is not Atlanta's trap sound. None of those guys. And I'm not taking anything from those guys, but if we're gonna be honest, none of those guys are trap music. These four guys are definitely trap music. Like, they are the trap gods. They are who people want to sound like when they rap about trap music. Period. Like, period. That's just what it is. And again, I agree with T.I. on that. I don't know if, you know, Gucci would agree with T.I. on that, which I hope he would. Like, I don't understand why he wouldn't, but he's not wrong. I feel like all three of them would agree with T.I. when it comes to that. And I know I think it's 5 people on the Mount Rushmore, if I'm not mistaken, or is it 4? It might just be 4. But yeah, that's it. There's no other way around it. None. Like, all 4 of their productions are fire. They have fire mixtapes. They got fire albums. And honestly, like, I can give y'all some of their best albums, like, alone, like, standing alone. Like, Urban Legend is a standout album. Radric Davis versus the State of Georgia, standout album, all by itself. Dirty Sprite 2, that album still goes crazy. Thug Motivation 101. Actually, I can tell you Thug Motivation 103 goes crazier. Because that's when Jeezy started finding himself and putting his foot in it for real. Like, oh yeah, y'all want more trap music, I'm gonna give y'all more trap music, but I'm gonna also give y'all this CEO or executive trap rap also. Like, I'm gonna show y'all that I'm putting my foot up on y'all desk and can't none of you niggas do nothing about it. Me personally, I like it, I adore it, that's it. Again, I don't think T.I. is wrong. I don't. That's just me. A lot of people probably argue, oh, but Migos, oh, but, you know, no. And that's not to say Migos is not part of the trap sound, because they are. They are. It's just, would you put the Migos before Future, Gucci, T.I., and Jeezy as far as Mount Rushmore trap niggas, like trap rap niggas? You wouldn't. They have a whole museum dedicated to everybody that's ever been in a trap, and Jeezy, T.I., and Gucci have the biggest parts in that, you know, in that whole area. It's not like, you know, it's not like niggas is making it up, because they're not. Like, niggas is not making this up. it's all about, and then again, it's all about preference too. So with me, I was there when Jeezy made his debut. I was there when T.I.'s debut happened. I was there when Gucci's debut happened. I was there when Future's debut happened. So I might be biased, but again, I don't even think it has any biasness to do with it. I think it has a lot to do with T.I. just being correct. That's it. That's the way I look at it. Like, I feel like it has a lot to do with T.I. being correct, and you just have to, believe in that. I feel like he'll stand on that. I feel like he's the guy that is gonna be like, look, you niggas be tripping. We the ones that made this trap, subgenre what it is. We the ones that popularized it. We the ones that really lived it. We the ones that did X, Y, and Z. We are the trap gods. And I don't see nothing wrong with that. Because if you argue that, you would have to argue that NWA didn't start gangster rap. That's the same argument. Like, if Eazy-E was still alive and somebody said, oh, well, Ice-T was doing this, and Tupac was doing this and this, that, and the other, but like, no, gangster rap on the West Coast started with NWA. They made it cool to rap like that. They made it cool to talk about that gangster shit. Like, that's another subgenre of rap that I feel like is by itself. Like, gangster rap is in a whole realm by itself, because again, NWA started that, and then other groups followed up and started doing things like that, and whatever. Same thing with like the Backpack Kids. That's another subgenre. Like, for you, if you sit up here and say that's like, let me see, who would have started the Backpack Kid rap? I would have to give it to Tribe. I would definitely say Tribe Called Quest definitely started the Backpack Kid rap, and everybody else just followed suit. Like, that's just what it is. And you just can't deny anything like that. Like, if Q-Tip was to come out and say Tribe started the backpack rap, I wouldn't argue with him about that. Only people who will argue with him about that is probably other groups that feel like they started it first. And that's okay. But if you didn't start it first, or if you feel like you did it better than Tribe, which I feel like nobody else did do it better than Tribe, there's nothing else. You can't argue that. You can't. Like, there's just no way in hell that you're like, oh yeah. That's just like if somebody say, oh, well, the Hot Boys started twerking music. No, Uncle Luke started that. Uncle Luke started twerking music. He's the godfather of that. Like, there's certain people who start a trend, but then you also have those certain people who take that trend and they make it popular and they take off with it. Period. And I feel like T.I., Jeezy, and Gucci started that trap rap trend, but I feel like Gucci and Future popularized it and took off with it, especially Future, because Future still raps like he has nothing to lose. That man's still giving you bars, and that's not to say the other three aren't, but like he's still giving you these bars that he's been giving you since Monster, since Pluto, like all of that. Like, he's been doing it for the longest, and it's like, you can't debate that. If it came down to somebody say, oh, well, who's the best rap group to ever, get started, but who took it off, I'm gonna tell you Bone Thugs and Harmony is the best rap group to ever, get on the mic. And I'm pretty sure there's other rap groups that'll probably look at me crazy and say, oh, whatever, but no, they just weren't rapping, regular rap. Them dudes had a melodic sound to them. They were 5 dudes from Cleveland just spitting. You feel me? Like, but I feel like, you know, other rap groups, I can't give you one in particular, like, they took those rap groups and they took off, they popularized it. So now you have so many of these rap groups with 10 niggas, and all their names start with the name of the rap group, which ain't nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that at all. I don't. Like, maybe Wu-Tang started it. Wu-Tang popularized it. I'll say that. Wu-Tang popularized those big rap, you know, posses. But I just don't think you can argue with T.I. about who are the GOATs of trap rap. I just feel like you couldn't argue with Ice Cube and Dr. Dre about who started gangster music. I feel like you can't argue with Q-Tip, you know, and everybody else. So you can't even argue with De La Soul and them about who started backpack music, you know, backpack kid music. That's just it. Like, you can't argue with Uncle Luke about who started this freak nasty twerk music. You can't. A lot of people will try, but you're gonna lose that argument every time. Like, you're gonna lose it every time, because again, there's always that person that started it, but it's always that person or that group that took off, and that's okay. You get what I'm saying? Like, you have to acknowledge the young niggas. We have to start acknowledging the young niggas who are, you know, following who they feel like are the greats. And I really feel like, you know, Young Thug and Gunna and, you know, Migos, Lil Baby, all of them, I feel like they will look at Gucci, T.I., Future, and Jeezy as some of the greats who started trap. I don't know, like, that's just me, that's just my opinion. I'm just one solo person, so, you know, but yeah, and I really feel like all four of them niggas can really wrap circles around people. That's just me. So, yeah, like, you can't come on, again, for him to say that and not be wrong, and we've heard T.I. be wrong about a lot of things, he's not wrong about this. He's not wrong about it. He's not, I don't feel like the way he, you know, put it, again, I didn't listen to the interview, but I'm pretty sure the way that he put it, he wasn't being malicious or, you know, trying to not acknowledge the other people who, you know, who also do trap music. He's just saying, hey, we are the greats who started this trap shit. This is my Mount Rushmore. And again, I just feel like the other three will agree with him 110%. That's just it. Like, there's nothing wrong with admitting when somebody's right, even though they've been wrong. There's nothing wrong with admitting when somebody's right and know, okay, that man knows what he's talking about. Because that man definitely gave us classics. He gave us hits, What You Know, Live in the Sky, You Don't Know Me, Motivation, King. Like, so many songs he gave us. Jeezy with, damn, why am I getting stuff on with, OJ, what I'm doing, wake up in the morning, who the fuck am I screwing? Like, who that? Crazy World. Like, they all gave us some crazy songs. Gucci with Trap House, Go Ahead, My Kitchen. Oh man, like, what? Nickelodeon is a crazy song. Realms Dancing, crazy. Like, even though them and then we can't also let me acknowledge that at one point all three of them were beefing. All three of them were beefing at one point. Let me acknowledge that. I don't know what the beef was about. Well, I know what the beef was about between Gucci and Jeezy, but I'm not gonna get into that. I don't care about that. That's just it. I don't care about what them, but I do want to acknowledge that them three were beefing at one point. It could have just been about who was the king of trap rap, and I feel like that was kind of corny because it's like all three of y'all can share that title because all three of y'all gave us different types of trap music. You feel me? Like, and again, Gucci Mane with Lemonade. Lemonade is a hard song. It's a crazy song. Future gave us Codeine Crazy. Hard song. Future gave us Shit. A hard song. Future gave us Zoom. A hard song. Future gave us Mask Off. Future gave us so many great trap songs. Groupies. Wi-Fi. Rax Blue. Nah. T.I.'s right. T.I.'s right. He's right. He's correct, man. He's correct. But yeah. Let me know what you think about if T.I. was right or if he was wrong. And if you feel like he was wrong, who's your Mount Rushmore trap rappers out of Atlanta? And make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. And I'll be back with another one. Peace.